Why don't women text back? And even more importantly, why do they even bother giving you their numbers if they don't intend to reply? In today's video, I'm going to explain exactly why this happens. I'm going to cover the first message that every guy sends that they absolutely shouldn't. And I'm going to cover exactly what you need to do to prevent this happening in the future. So the first thing we need to understand is the yes, no, maybe matrix. So when you meet a woman, you can be a yes, a no, or a maybe from her perspective. Now, if you are a yes, that is awesome because that means that she likes you. She really digs you. And it really almost doesn't matter what you do or say. She's going to be cool with it. You can send a boring first message. You can make a joke that doesn't really hit right. You can do a whole bunch of things, but because you're a yes, she's going to want to meet you anyway. On the other side of the spectrum is the no. If a woman's decided that you're a no, that's it. You're toast. She's not going to want to see you. She's totally against the idea of seeing you again. She absolutely cannot see you like in her mind romantically. There's nothing you can do. There's no recovery. There's nothing to be done about it. But right in the middle, this is where the magic happens at maybe. You see, most of the time when you meet a woman, from her perspective, you're a maybe. Does you ask for a phone number and a date? Yeah, maybe. That's what she's thinking. That's what she's feeling. She's not convinced. She's not a yes. She's not against you. It's not a no. I want to give you an example to make it obvious what's happening. Imagine you're at a house party and you're not talking to women. You're talking to a guy you've never met before, and his name is Paul. Paul's a nice guy. He's decent. You have a bit of a chat with him. He's not sort of rude or awkward or annoying in any particular way. He doesn't stand out. He's not like amazing in any way, but he's nice enough. If Paul says to you, "Hey, it was really good to meet you. Let's catch up. Let's have a drink sometime." Are you going to say no? Probably not, right? You're probably going to say, "Yeah, sure. Why not?" Right now in your head, Paul is a maybe. He hasn't done anything special. He hasn't stood out, but you're not against meeting up with him. He's a nice enough guy. So you get Paul's number. The next weekend rolls around and Paul says, "Hey, let's go out and have that drink." What do you reckon? If Paul didn't stand out in any special way, can you imagine how you'd have to have a completely blank weekend with nothing more interesting to do, nothing you'd more rather do, and you'd also have to be in the mood to go out and have a drink in the first place, right? There's nothing pulling you towards Paul. The only thing that's going to make you go out with him is if you really, really need new friends, or if you really, really, really just want to get out of the house or something like this, right? There's no pull towards meeting him again. This is the maybe space. And this is why so often you get women going, "Yeah, let's meet up." And then you try to arrange it. And she's like, "Oh, I've got this going on. I've got that going on." She doesn't rearrange another time to meet with you. She doesn't put in an effort to make it easy for you to make a time to catch up. That's maybe space. So now we need to think, okay, what could Paul have done to make you feel pulled to meeting him again? Well, the first and obvious one is Paul could have represented or had something going on that you really wanted. So, for example, if you met Paul and it turned out that Paul was actually a really capable pickup guy, he met and picked up lots of women, would that make you more likely to want to see Paul again? If Paul was really affluent, was really talented in a new hobby that you were just starting, wanting to get better at, would that make you more likely to meet him? If Paul ran his own business and you were just starting a new business, would that make you more interested to meet him? So if Paul had something of value, knowledge or connections or something like that that you valued, or a knowledge base that you wanted to learn more about that you valued, that would pull you towards meeting Paul. What else? Well, if Paul was really fun, like if Paul was funny and you laughed a lot, had a lot of fun joking and bantering with him, that would pull you towards wanting to meet Paul again, because now that seeing Paul would be a positive emotional response. The thought of seeing him, like, yeah, that guy's fun. I want to see him again. What else could draw you towards seeing Paul again? Well, the last thing could be that you shared some form of deep or emotional connection. So it could be that maybe both you and Paul are deeply artistic and you like photography or drawing or painting and you really connect on that level. Maybe both you and Paul are very politically minded in a very strong direction. Maybe you and Paul have both been through a lot of anxiety and depression when you were younger, and you've overcome it and you've really worked hard at that together, really worked hard at it, and you share that together. So any of these deep emotional things that only someone who's been through it or is engaged in that thing can understand. If you share that in common, that's another reason, because it feels like a fellow sailor in the night who's in the same headspace. That will make you feel pulled to go and see Paul again. And these are exactly the same things that are going to make a woman feel pulled to want to see you. It's going to pull her into the yes category, right? So first of all, it's no surprise you hear dating coaches harp on and on and on about teasing and banter, right? Because it makes it fun. The thought of seeing you again is fun. You're more likely to be a yes. Now, teasing and banter is something I've talked about a lot. I'm not going to go into the details here. I've made videos about it. I've even got an AI that you can practice teasing and banter skills with. It's free. I'll link to it down in the comments below. But also, I know that not every guy is... Some guys are very serious by nature. Not only have you not really grown up around banter and humor, it's just not your vibe. It feels cheap. It feels tacky. And I understand that. But you can still connect on the deeply emotional stuff, build really amazing rapport with someone. Now, that's a skill. Even if you're a serious person, to build a deep connection with someone quickly is a skill. And that's something that I'm going to make my very next video about. So, spoiler alert, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss out on that one. But finding that deep emotional connection, most people share at least one or two things that they could connect on. What a lot of guys struggle with is finding those things when they're talking to a woman in a bar or a club. They're the wrong environment. It feels like the wrong environment to try to make that deep connection, but you absolutely can do it. And so what I find, if I just think about those top two things first, right? That's what I'm always doing. If I go to a bar and I talk to a woman, I'm funny, I'm playful with her, I'm teasing her, and then we have this really deep chat about something that we both feel very strongly about, my response rate to a first message goes up to about 80 or 90%, right? Most women I meet that behaving like that will reply to me because I'm getting my way into that yes category. Now, you'll notice I didn't talk about providing value to her, so being really knowledgeable in an area or all these other things. The reason I don't do that is, first of all, that's harder to build. You can't just create that out of nothing. And secondly, the types of, if that's the value you're bringing, it tends to bring a lot more flakiness, women just playing with you till they get what they want out of you, all that kind of stuff. That tends to happen. When guys flash money around to pick up women, they can sometimes get women. Depends on, I know wealthy guys who get women paying their attention, but they don't get any action. That's a very common thing, far more common than a lot of guys realize, because when you lead with that stuff, you get played along so that they can use your resources, whatever that is, knowledge, money, whatever, power, without having to actually sleep with you. So I've left that one out. Okay, so that's all fine and well, but what happens if the damage is done? What happens if you've got a phone number, you're in the maybe category, you're still learning the social skills and getting better at them? A lot of my clients are in the maybe category, right, in the beginning when they're learning this stuff and starting to get their first phone numbers, and a lot of them flake. It's very common. The first thing you absolutely must not do, and every guy does, is they send this message. Hey, blah, blah, blah. So, hey, Nicole, it was really great to meet you last night. It's Damien from last night. It was really great to meet you. This message drives me crazy because every guy writes it, and it's very, very lazy and gives her no indication why she should respond to that. So if you're not in the yes category, if you're just in the maybe, that's a very easy message to ignore. Instead, I want to give you two shortcuts, two ways to give you at least 2 or 3 times boost on the number of women who will actually start replying to you. So the first is this. Think about something, a fact that you know about her, and use it as a reason, use it as a tease in your first message. Now, if you're struggling with teasing, if you're struggling to think about things to tease about, you can use ChatGPT, you can use Gemini, you can use your AI of choice, and it will help you. So I've got an example loaded up on my phone that I can show you here. I'll ask ChatGPT, what are some ways I could text a woman I just met and playfully make fun of her? She's French, she went to college in Australia, she gets annoyed with poorly made coffee, and she hates spiders. She had to go early because her friend was drunk and some guy was annoying her. This sounds like a relatively normal interaction. So here are some things, here are some answers that I got that would be great as a first message. Just saw someone order a flat white with sugar. Thought of you having an existential crisis about it. Quick question, on a scale of tiny house spider to drop everything and run, How bad would it be if I told you there's one on your shoulder right now? And then in brackets, kidding, ... Or am I, ? Devil face. Playful first message. The third option it gave me was, just walked past a tiny spider, I thought of you. Are you safe over there, brave French warrior? The second option, if you don't want to write a tease, is still teasing, so hold on there, but it's sometimes even more powerful than a tease and easier to do. Ask Google for a funny meme based on something about her. So I just typed in spider funny meme into Google image search. And this was one of the first images that came up. And what I'd want to do is send it to her and say, hey, I was just browsing Google this morning and found this photo of you online. What are the odds? Now, when you send a message like this, it's playful. It's saying, do you want to play? It's very hard to get a message like that. Imagine Paul at the party, who's seen relatively bland, throws the first message and is making fun of you or teasing you. When someone does that, it's hard not to respond. You feel compelled to play along with it or get involved. Someone's teasing you, someone's poking you. Also, it sets a good frame. This is going to be fun. This is going to be enjoyable. If we interact together, this is going to be a nice experience. And so she's far more likely to start replying to you and give you a chance, right? You just escalated that maybe a little bit further by starting with that playful, fun first message. And so this is the thing we need to understand, like when you're in a maybe, means you could have done a better job in the interaction, right? And teasing and rapport were the two big players in making that happen. If you're already in the maybe and you've gotten the number, you need to make that first message fun, because if you do those things, your non-response rate will drop. Most women are going to reply to you. Most women are going to engage with you. And the number of women who actually go on dates with you are going to go through the roof. And guys, as always, if you like this video, the biggest thing you can do to help me is give me a thumbs up and write a comment down in the comments. Subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any more videos, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the future.